Fantasy Rap
with Austin and Ozzy.
Oh, I just love those boys.
Hey everyone, this is Fantasy Rap, and I'm your host Ozzy.
And I'm your co-host Austin.
You can find us on fantasyrap.com. That is fantasywrap.com. There. Hi everybody, welcome to week 17 of the fantasy football season, and for I think pretty much everyone, it's championship week. And we have Sutton here for Peas Picks. Hi Sutton. Are you happy to be here?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Well, we have got the Jets, Jets. And we've got, what is that? Oof, oof. Is that a dog? It is. It's the dog pound. We've got the Cleveland Browns. Who would you like us to talk about? You want us to talk about the Jets? The Jets, Jets? We can do that. Can you look up there and say goodbye? See you later.
Bye, P.
Hey everybody, so you saw who Sutton chose. She chose the Jets, Jets, which I'm sure is making one of my brothers-in-law happy, since he is from that area and is a huge Jets fan, in spite of them not being very good. So we're going to start off with Simeon. He actually had a pretty decent, at least from a percentage standpoint. He was 32 of 45 for 261 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception, 4 rushes for 13 yards. Nothing to write home about.
Yeah,
although
the pick
against
got housed, that's about the only thing. It's
Yeah.
one turnover, and it was the worst situation, worst possible
for
outcome.
both
Yeah.
he and Flacco.
Yeah,
But because
Flacco was 309 yards, 3 touchdowns. So
Oh yeah.
But yes.
There was a definite difference there with
Yeah.
the touchdowns, but it was interesting because Hall caught that early touchdown pass, which the whole game surprised me because you have the vaunted defense of the New York Jets who gave up like 500 yards, 450
Something like that.
yards to Cleveland, and Cleveland isn't necessarily an offensive powerhouse. And then you've got the other side where the Jets had some decent yardage going against Cleveland.
yeah, it's been a long season, especially for the Jets defense. You can be, unless you're like the 2000 Ravens or the 85 Bears, is the amount of time that they've spent. The Jets defense has spent out on a
Right.
field of the entire season.
Right.
At some point it just falls apart because you're just exhausted. So
Agreed.
yeah,
So
it's been a long season for them.
Yep. And I'm not unhappy about that because our second round pick keeps on getting better and better with every loss. Next up, we've got Breece Hall. Caught all 9 of his targets for 42 yards and a touchdown. Nice touchdown run on that. He had 13 rushes for 84 yards. Really good game.
Yeah, he's been very good on at times a horrible offensive team, that they're rolling out there, and he's been the only bright spot, so far. Wilson's been kind of up and down.
And you see it. Wilson had 5 catches on 10 targets for 50 yards, 1 rush for -1 yard.
Yeah.
Not what you want to see.
Especially with where he was getting drafted too, with the expectation of having Aaron Rodgers all season should have put him in the top 5 wide receiver, conversation for fantasy, because I think that's probably about where he was going, was maybe that number 5 even, if people really believed in it. So, next season, he'll probably still be back up there in that, probably in the second round, third round.
I think expectations might be a little tempered because of the uncertainty. Rodgers is going to come back, but what Rodgers will we see?
True, and if they, like the rumors are, if they just go all out and try and go and get Devontae, that should help a little bit, but it takes probably is going to take quite a few targets away.
Right, because you've seen in the past.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen in the past, 5 guys are out in routes, 3 of them, are a little bit more open, and he's going to force into double coverage.
Yep.
So, it is what it is. But he also, Wilson is a burner and can get open and has good hands, and he definitely gives them something that with Adams out there might be of benefit.
Yeah,
so
I agree. And Breece Hall, I think he's, we were talking about Kyron Williams last week too, about how he's probably going to be in the first. I mean, he missed 4 games. I don't think it's very understated. He's number 2 in rushing yardage, behind CMC by like 200 yards, 300, whatever.
Because the last time we saw it, I think, was before CMC played.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense. But Kyron Williams missed 4 games. Yeah. Honestly, I think he would probably be tied, if not very close
it would
to
be
CMC.
It would be one way or the other within probably 50 to 100 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, you go with his average. He's averaging about 100 yards a game played. So if you do that 350 or so yards is made up quickly.
Yeah, so I think Breece Hall is going to be right up there with Kyron because Dalvin Cook's moving on. I think it'd be crazy for both sides, Dalvin Cook and the Jets, to keep him because they've shown they're not going to use him. Right. And he still maybe has another 2 years left of being, part of a committee, an actual part of a committee.
But he's a year removed from 4 straight 1,000-yard rushing years. Yeah, so he's not old.
Yeah, I know, but maybe somebody does bring him in. Like I said, Buffalo, pair him up with his brother. I'm sure he probably would love to come and play in Buffalo.
Let him come to Green Bay and become the featured back.
Yeah,
let Jones and Dylan walk.
Yeah.
And
so
I look at a guy like him and I say, you couldn't do it. The Packers couldn't do it last year.
No.
The Packers could do it this coming year.
Yeah, that'd actually be pretty cool.
Yeah,
because as much as I hate the Vikings, well, not hate, but just rival team. It's always been fun watching Dalvin Cook. He's super. He's fun to watch. I think I had him 1 year. Like that first 1,000-yard rushing, or whatever he had, like that first season that he really broke out. And it's been fun to watch him when he's truly, he's healthy and the featured back. He's really good. But I think Breece Hall, you get rid of Dalvin Cook and they just have whoever the 3rd or 4th guy backing him up is. Breece Hall, sorry. He's going to be the true workhorse, dominant running back in the backfield. Is anyways, but
it
that's
depends.
Going to bring him up into that first round.
Yeah, it just depends on if they bring in Arthur Smith to run the offense.
True. Yeah, that'll be Abanikanda or whoever that rookie with that weird last name was that they got.
Yeah, the guy that fumbled.
Yeah.
So. Moving on, we had Conklin go 5 of 5 for 45 yards, which, I look at...
For a tight end?
Yeah, for compared to what Wilson put up, you had the same number of catches, you had practically the same number of yards, but you caught all 5 of your targets. Yeah. And I'm not saying that Wilson dropped any. No. I'm just saying that it wasn't,
It's more efficient.
Of his 13... incompletions, 5 of them were to Wilson. So moving on, they had Gibson. He was 4 of 7 for 33 yards, 1 rush for 8 yards. Not a whole lot going on there. It was a their defense scored them. Did the most work for them. They had a kick blocked. They had. They didn't look good.
No. Yeah, overall. In the Dynasty League that I'm still playing in, because that's that 2-week per matchup one, and the other one with Nick. I had totally spaced, and I had the Jets defense in, but luckily,
worked okay.
They got the touchdown and the block kick and whatever, so I still ended up with 12 points out of them, so I'm not going to complain.
Yep. I know, there's nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
So moving on, we're going to do our picks of the week. At QB, the top 6 are Hurts, Mahomes, Allen, Purdy, Prescott, and Lamar Jackson. and I chose Purdy, not paying attention. I
called
don't.
him out.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't notice that. And it's funny because if you remember what I chose last week, it was Purdy, Jonathan Taylor, Debo.
Yeah, you stacked Debo.
And McBride. So this week I'm going to go Purdy. No,
Yeah.
I'm going to go C.J. Stroud versus Tennessee.
Yep.
CJ's back. Hopefully, he steps right back into what he was doing prior to getting injured.
I think they need to, aren't they? Are they on the bubble for playoffs?
I believe they're on the bubble.
Yeah, they're going to need him to come back and be
Yeah.
what he's. I mean, Tennessee isn't, a scary matchup by all means on either side of the ball, really. But yeah, they're going to need him to come in and play well and win that game.
Right. I mean, they're missing Tank Dell.
Mm-hmm.
Are they missing?
Nico's good. I think Noah Brown is good.
Okay.
And
I wasn't sure about the two of them.
Should be good too. So
Who?
Dalton Schultz, the tight end.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he
So-
missed a little bit of time in the last couple of weeks.
Right.
So,
So yeah, was he the one that injured his arm? I don't remember.
yeah, maybe.
Broke a bone in his arm or something and was back within 4 weeks. I don't remember who that was.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, coming into week 14, he was, in the MVP conversation. He was leading the league in passing yardage.
Yeah, just on fire.
Yeah. So if he can keep it going, I mean, it's not. It's like you said, it's not a tough matchup.
Yeah.
So chances are good that he'll put up some numbers.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so when I was filling this out too, and I saw you had Purdy, I was looking at CJ Stroud, but I figured you would take him. So I went with another, decent matchup with Stafford versus the Giants.
Oh, yeah.
Cooper Kupp healthy, Puka healthy, Kyron Williams, like we were just talking about.
Yeah, I mean that's
There's just
that's
so
a tough
many.
choice. I
Yeah.
mean, are they going to run?
Yeah.
Are they going to pass? I've got Puka in one of my leagues that the championship is in, and
Yeah.
I need him to come through. I obviously don't want Cup to come through, but
Yeah, the Rams, it just doesn't seem to really matter. They'll hand the ball off to Kyron 25 times, but Stafford will still throw the ball 40.
Right.
It seems to not matter.
and I think that you're at a point in the season, and you've seen some of these comebacks that you're going to put the pressure. I mean, you're going to put the foot on the pedal, and you're going to push it as hard as you can until you're up by 60. And at that point, you might feel good about winning.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I were coaching, that's what I would be doing at this point. Just because we've seen 28-point games turn around.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So like I said, matchup.
and I mean, Matt Stafford knows that this is championship week for a lot of people. So he's going to probably go up to McVay and say, "Hey, we got to help
Get it
people
done
out."
for the fantasy fans. It's a good thing he's not in Atlanta.
I would love, it's funny because you remember we were talking at the beginning of the year and the scoring was down.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, week 1 was like one of the lower
Yeah.
scoring weeks for the last X number of years.
and I think through 4 weeks it was lower than it's ever been before or something through the first 4 weeks, and it's finally started to pick up, and you've seen the big games out of like Cooper.
Yep.
Unfortunately,
Amari
he didn't.
Cooper.
Yeah,
Oh,
unfortunately,
Amari
that's
Cooper.
he
I
didn't
thought
get
you were
to
saying
play.
Cooper Kupp.
No, Amari
But yeah.
Cooper
Yep.
last week. Unfortunately, he didn't play this week.
Yep.
So I mean, it's changed somewhat, which makes it more interesting in my mind. Although it's then easy having a team like mine who no one's been close to in scoring,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden someone goes off on the other team or a couple of players, and I have a guy that has a down week, and a team that has outscored everybody by 300 to 500 points over the season loses the championship.
Yeah. All it takes is 1 week.
Yeah. So, I like it and I don't like it. Moving on, we've got the running backs. We've got Isaiah Pacheco. Nope, he's not in there. We've got Run CMC. We've got Kyron Williams. We've got Rashad White. We've got James Cook.
Yep.
we've got Tony Pollard, and we've got Walker the third, Texas Ranger.
All right.
Wow, I'm old. So I decided to go with Jonathan Taylor again. Didn't really do a whole lot last week, did he? So I'm hoping that because they're playing Las Vegas,
Raiders. Yeah.
that there's a good chance that he comes out. I mean, they're one of the worst teams against the run, so I'm thinking that, and I believe that Moss is now out.
Oh yeah, I haven't paid really any attention to Indianapolis basically all season.
Yeah, I've got Moss on my my dynasty league, so it lets me know when players are in or out. So I believe he's out, and is Pittman?
That I don't know. I
haven't heard much about Pittman either.
Yeah.
So my guess is they're going to probably feed Taylor the ball 25 times.
That'd be nice.
And I'm hoping for a big game out of him. I mean, I don't have him in any leagues.
It would be nice. I mean, I have JT in one of the dynasty leagues. But yeah, it would be. I have JT and actually Josh Jacobs on the same team, and I think Jacobs has been ruled doubtful now. So, but yeah, I mean,
I did pick up Zamir White.
Yeah. So
in one of my leagues,
it would just be nice. It would be nice to see JT have one of those. That was it his rookie year or second year that he.
Yes.
Second half of his rookie year that he started to go.
Yeah.
But to see that, and then what we saw as Badger fans,
right,
here in Madison, for him to, I just want to see it that he hasn't somehow just lost that.
Yeah. I don't think he has. Yeah. I think it's, anytime an injury creeps up on you, it takes some time to get back to not only feeling healthy, but mentally healthy.
Well, and all that BS, in the beginning of the season, into the season a little bit with him and Irsay, who I don't know why I'd ever want to fight. He just can't fight crazy.
No.
And he tried. And
no, I mean, look at your wife.
Yeah.
Hi, Brett.
Yeah, let's cut that. No.
Nah.
But yeah, like I said, it'd be really nice if there was a matchup to see JT a little bit of that, that old stuff.
Yeah.
It'd just be.
Yeah. He was so electrifying in college, and that year or so stretch that he was. We were talking about it, wasn't it? Was it last year, or it wasn't this year that we said he? No, it was last year that we said he'd be a number one pick, and I think he was the number one pick, if not the number two behind CMC.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden, you get injured and it just falls apart. So.
Yeah. So, I'm going with ETN against Carolina. Bad defense, bad team. Really, unless they're facing a Joe Barry defense.
They looked like pros against us.
So Trevor Lawrence has been ruled out this week. So I think they are gonna. I don't even know who their backup is. Is Nick Foles still there?
No, he might be, but who came in? I'm trying to think of who came in when he got injured.
I cannot.
Was it Foles? No. No, it was someone else. I'm almost positive it was someone else. I was watching the game, and I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't remember either. But so I think they're gonna try and lean on ETN here.
Oh yeah.
So he should have plenty of.
You look at what Aaron Jones did. During the game, let alone the first half against Carolina. They're just not that good.
Yeah.
So that I was looking at him also. I just had to go back.
He's had some big games. ETN.
Yeah.
I faced him against one of his bigger games. I think that was that one in London against the Falcons. He had like 2 touchdowns and a lot of yardage. But yeah, so he can do it. And like I said, Lawrence out. It's just a good matchup, and the process and the recipe are there.
Yeah.
So
moving on, we have our wide receivers: CeeDee Lamb, Deebo Samuel, AJ Brown, Tyreek Hill, doing the gritty, JJ, and Brendan Ayuk. So I'm going to stack with your quarterback.
Nice.
I'm going Puka Nacua.
Yep.
Need him to come through. Again, you've got probably one of the easiest games out there. As far as, I mean, the Giants defense, they only look good against the Packers, as did their offense against the Packer defense. It's funny. I was looking at I belong to a Facebook group for lineups, et cetera, for fantasy football, and someone was like, "Who do we stream for defense this week? Is it the Packers?" And I'm just sitting there going, "No,
Please don't.
Well, what would be your?" I so badly wanted to comment. I'm a Packer fan, and there's no. If they were the only team available, I'd probably go with no defense, unless you're guaranteed to not lose points.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, the likelihood of them getting a sack is somewhere between slim and none, with Joe Barry not running a. So.
Yeah,
That's neither here nor there. I want, obviously, I've got Nakua in my championship.
Coming off a monster game last week.
Yeah,
too,
I could use it. I could use it again.
Yeah.
So hopefully
like I said,
happens.
hopefully they score through the air, not on the ground.
Well, no, that's okay too, because I've got Kyron in that league.
All right, yeah.
I mean,
So,
CMC, Kyron, Nakua.
Yeah, a little of both. So, yeah.
Jalen Hurts. It's that stupid lineup that I've got.
If you don't win, then
I actually dropped Keenan Allen this
well,
week
that's
because he's out.
Well, but then understandable too with the little Easton stick.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and then
So I see you're doing a stack too.
yeah, I'm stacking with your quarterback. I'm going Nico Collins versus Tennessee. He can put up monster numbers too. He's a big guy, fast. I mean, he's. I think it was last year with Davis Mills was putting up some big games here and there too. So, and like I said, Stroud coming back, it's really a game they have to win.
Yeah.
In order to, sneak
Have a chance.
or, have a chance to sneak into playoffs. So
Right.
I think they'll be hopefully firing on all cylinders there. And like I said, if Noah Brown's healthy and Dalton Schultz, that's going to take some attention away from Nico. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I like the pick.
Yeah.
Tennessee doesn't actually seem like they care to win.
No.
A lot of them don't even seem like they care to play. So, that could easily be a high scoring game.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, put your foot on the pedal and just keep on going.
Yeah.
Moving on, we've got our tight ends. We've got Travis Kelce. We've got Kittle. We've got Ferguson. Is that Turd Ferguson?
Yep.
We've got Isaiah Likely. We've got Laporta. And we had Njoku last night. And what a game he had.
Yeah, he's been, I over the last, 6 weeks has probably been like the number in the top 3 tight ends.
Yeah.
Every single week.
I mean, that
It's
was
been really since Joe Flacco, I guess.
6 of 8, 134 yards, and the majority of that was in the first half.
Yeah.
Actually, the majority of it was in the first quarter. And it was interesting because A, he was making one-handed catches. B, he was running over people, around people, past people, etc. So,
Like I said, his, like we've talked about, his athletic profile.
Yeah.
He's a freak. I mean, he's huge and he's fast. He's got great hands and he's shifty. He's quick along with being fast. But and then he can just knock people over. He's just I don't know what finally started to click, if it's just, that Flacco is helping to open up that offense. Because, Flacco's been very good, too, since he's come in. There's people, I've been seeing stuff about Browns fans wanting them to just rip the Band-Aid, get Watson out of there, and just sign Flacco for another year. If he wants to come back, I don't know if he wants to come back or not.
yeah, here's your problem.
Yeah.
You guaranteed all of that money. Now, I'm guessing that they can trade the guaranteed money.
I would assume so. It was a bad contract to start with, in my opinion.
It was a horrible contract.
If they didn't give themselves some sort of
Well,
reprieve, and if
they're
they
still-
had to get rid of him, then
they still owe him
Yes.
all of the money.
yeah,
Regardless, whoever would trade for him would still owe him all of the money. If that's how they, if they were able to trade him like that. And they're still going to be responsible for the entire signing bonus. So if you take the signing bonus off, and I don't remember what the signing bonus was, but if you take the signing bonus off, he might actually be tradable. But are you going to trade him after one season? I mean, yeah, they've had him for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
They knew that he was out for 12 weeks or whatever the first year, and that he was going to be rusty coming back. This, I don't know.
I think it's going to be weird. I mean, because you see what the Browns can be. I mean, their defense can be. Granted, they did let up a little bit, 20 points, I think, last night.
Yeah,
which isn't bad,
only
and then 1 defensive touchdown. So
right.
I mean, so really only whatever.
2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
No, a touchdown and 2 field goals. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Did they have the 2 field goals, or did they have a missed extra point? People were missing extra points and such.
But so the Browns can be, I mean, if Flacco doesn't drop off anytime soon, they're a pretty strong contender.
Yes. And I actually like them this year. I'm not sure that, he's going to turn 39 soon.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that quarterbacks can't still play. I mean, you had Brady play until he was 73. I mean, you've seen it in the past. I mean, quarterbacks can last a little longer. Rodgers is 39 or 40.
Yeah.
And, if he can stay healthy, still a great quarterback.
Yeah.
So, but the point is, are you going to trade away a 27-year-old or 28-year-old and go with a 39-year-old because you're only going to have him for maybe a year or two, and then he's either going to retire or you're going to find that it's not.
Yeah, like I said, it's just what I've been seeing.
No, yeah.
And I truly think, I mean, you watch Deshaun, like we've talked about, with all that stuff, obviously what he did, not right.
Joyce's massage.
Yeah. All the stuff he did, not right, all of that, but just the toll that all of that took on him mentally, too. You can see it on the field. He just did not look comfortable at all anytime he was out there, and then obviously with the injury and then getting the surgery and that whole weird situation around that where he was medically cleared and then didn't, all that stuff. So I just think he's almost too much of a distraction and just added drama to a team that does not need it.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, I am against that type of contract with a guy who he was good. Was he a superstar? No, he had a lot of potential. But to make the trade that they did and to sign him to that contract, it just made no sense to me.
Exactly.
So, nonetheless, I am going to go with Trey McBride. Guess what? 3 of the same guys from last week.
Yep.
Except for my quarterback. I had to change him out. I think he had 10 receptions this past week.
Yeah,
he's not getting in the end zone, which I don't like, but he's in a PPR league.
Yeah, he's a monster.
It's a no-brainer. In a standard league such as we have here, I mean, if he's still getting 80 to 100 yards, it's a good performance coming out of a tight end.
Yeah.
You're not going to have Njoku numbers every year or every week. You're not going to have Kelsey numbers. You're not going to, and if Kittle goes off and gets his 2 or 3 touchdowns, no, you're not going to have those numbers. But as a guy who every week for the last 8 weeks or so has been a top 8 performer probably every single week.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, he's just, he's almost, I wouldn't say, he's kind of matchup proof just from the sheer number of targets that he receives from Kyler. So, I mean, he's
and from Dobbs before that.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't matter who was playing quarterback; they were getting him the ball.
Yeah, and
before that, they were getting
not a shutout defense either.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, So I really like it. I've liked it. I was right before when Kyler was coming back. I kind of had been looking at him, but that was I still had Andrews, who was still healthy at that point. So I was like,
I had Andrews too, but I picked up Trey because I needed him when he got injured.
Yeah. So, so I'm going to go, actually been pretty consistent over the last 5-6 games. Not, world beating, but better than the huge disappointment he's been since his rookie season, and that's Kyle Pitts against Chicago.
Had a big
Good
week last
matchup.
week.
Yeah.
Or a very good week.
Yep. So, I mean, he's healthy amount of targets in that kind of 6 to 8 range of targets every week. So as long as something doesn't happen and you have one of those really bad Kyle Pitts weeks that you can,
Right.
I think he I said he's not gonna
Or
he's
a
not
bad
gonna
Arthur,
explode.
or a bad Arthur Smith week.
True. Yeah. Pitts he's not gonna explode and give you will explode, but for a tight end, I don't think he'll get you 20 or close to 20, because that's kind of create. Well, PPR is pretty attainable sometimes, but
Right. He would
but
he would almost have to
standard-
get 2 touchdowns.
yeah,
to get
standard scoring. If he got you 8-9 points, which is 80
Right.
90 yards.
Right.
I mean, that would be great out of Kyle
Yeah.
Pitts. That's
I think one of his first 2 catches last week was a touchdown.
yeah.
So, and he had a couple, because it's with the Dynasty League, and I get reports on catches
Yeah,
or
big
plays over
plays and
20
stuff like
yards
that, yeah.
and touchdowns.
Yeah.
He had a 20-plus yard catch. He had a touchdown. So, right there you're talking at least 10 points. So, yeah. I like it. I was looking at him also.
Yeah.
But I always have trouble getting past Trey McBride. I mean, I just do.
Out of those 2, I'd put McBride in every single time.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because McBride, Laporta, Hawkinson, these are all guys who are going to be the future of tight ends in my mind.
Yeah.
So, the Kelce's, as Kelce retires, as Kittle gets a little older, Ferguson is still young. What is he, 3 years out
third
or
year.
something?
Andrews
Isaiah Likely's
is 29, 28,
Yeah,
something
he's
like that.
he's
So
getting up there.
A little older, and then with the injury.
Right.
But yeah, I mean,
It'll be interesting to see Hawkinson, what will come from, ACL.
and then the
MCL?
too. Yeah, I think so.
So,
Yeah.
those are scarier injuries that, they'll take some time. He could be back next year. But, these are those young guys that, you expect.
2 tight ends in Green Bay now with Kraft and
Oh, yeah. And
can't I think of the other guy?
Musgrave.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's interesting. I was talking with my dad about that, and he's like, Musgrave is the guy. And I'm like, I actually think that Tucker Kraft is, they bring slightly different things to the table. I foresee Tucker Kraft, and I see both of them hanging around for, at least, they're going to be here for the 4 years, and one of them, I think,
Might
will
have to
be
just make a decision, unless one of them really truly takes over. But yeah,
right.
Yeah,
They expected Tucker Kraft to be the main guy, and then Musgrave was really good to start the season, but then got injured, and Kraft has shown what he's capable of.
Yeah.
I think.
yeah,
So it'll be interesting, and for all the Jordan Love haters out there that are figuring out that Jordan Love is probably going to be a top 10 to 15 quarterback going forward in the league.
he's got better stats right now than Mahomes. He's got better stats than the majority of the league.
And he has better stats than Rodgers had his rookie. Well, his first year as a starter, and that was with some stud players, a stud offensive line. Them being the youngest team, the youngest offense. They've got and no receivers with more than 2 years of experience. This is their second year. I see them going places. I really do. If they can figure out how to actually run the defense with the players that they've got.
True. Yeah.
And keep Jair from yapping off
Coin
and saying,
tosses.
Coach must not have known I was from Carolina.
Yeah. I just, like you said, we were talking, a game, again, where, Jair goes, you saw what I did last year, right? You trying to win this game or not?
Yeah.
Granted, it's Jaron Hall is getting the start this week, so who knows, what that's going to bring. But
I think Gritty's going to eat us up.
yeah, so I just fine him as a team if you can find your player. Fine him.
No. Put it this way. Okay, so let's say Jair plays. Okay. Do you see the Packers going to the Super Bowl this year?
Well, no.
Okay.
I know what you're saying.
there's no purpose in being there.
If we lose,
Yeah.
But like I said, we texted about it. Like, it still just hurts. It still hurts.
You just haven't been a fan long enough to know that sometimes it's a good idea to not do as well.
I agree, but it's still just being competitive.
They're competitive.
That just takes over for me, and then being like, "Oh, we get better draft pick."
But what happens is they still have their offense out there, minus Watson, minus all of these injured players that they've had to deal with. I mean, there you go on top of what has Jordan Love had to work with. Watson has spent probably half of the season injured. Aaron Jones, half of the season or more injured. You've got
Bakhtiari, at all.
But I'm talking from the receivers and running backs.
Oh, yeah.
You're talking Musgrave has been out the last 6 weeks or so.
Something like that.
Dontavian Wicks has been in and out. Malik Heath has been in and out. Jaden Reed has been in and out. And these are all young guys, and yet he can go out and he can throw it to who's number 80?
Dobbs.
No. 80. Dobbs is 87. And Dobbs has been in and out. Bo Melton.
Oh, yeah.
Bo Melton with 2 or 3 catches last week. I mean, it doesn't matter. And they're still going to be as competitive as Jordan Love can be with what he's got out there.
Yeah.
It's just we aren't actually playing a defense.
Yeah. Do we ever?
Occasionally we do.
Yeah.
It comes in spurts. It's like all of a sudden a light goes off in his head and he knows pressure is a good thing and man coverage is a good thing. And then the next week we go against a team like the Giants and we don't have any blitzes and we aren't playing man, we're playing a soft zone and we just give them everything. And he does not understand how to actually utilize the players that he's got. I mean, it's like we've said, you had 4 or 3 excellent cover corners. 3. I mean, Jair is one of the top 3 in football in my mind. You've got Stokes, who is very good, and we have a lot, what we saw in him his rookie year was great. We had Rasul Douglas, and yet we're going to play a soft zone. That's not, I mean, we're back to, why don't we have Kevin King? Because Kevin King was supposedly great in zone, but couldn't cover man. So, you talk about, it's the same as the people who come up and they say, we should go out and get this player. Well, that player doesn't fit with the zone blocking scheme. Well, we should go get this guy. Well, that guy doesn't, it's all dependent on what are they used to playing and where are their strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. It's all I've got or all we've got for this week. Yeah. You're not playing for anything?
Just whatever, if I win or lose a draft pick, I guess, in that.
So you're just in the one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's in the consolation. Actually, do I have it? I don't think I have a chance of getting the number 1 in that one. Okay. But I might get 3rd or 4th potentially.
Yeah.
So. And
I actually, and we'll talk about this in a future segment, probably in the early spring. Our Dynasty League is going to go away from the whole idea of playoffs for the teams that are out of the playoffs. So 10 teams, 6 teams make it, 2 have a bye, 4 teams are out vying for the number 1 draft pick. Well, we aren't going to vie for the number 1 draft pick anymore. It's going to go based on max points possible over the course of the season, last place second to last, so on and so forth, up through those bottom 4 to determine who's going to get which draft pick. And I had seen that online, and I think it's a great way to do it because there is no such thing as tanking. Unless you take players from your team and get rid of them to try and have fewer points possible. But then you're trading away for the future.
Called out on that
but you're not. But you're not, because you're trading players for draft picks, which is still to improve your team over time. And I don't have a problem with that. If you're trading players to get draft picks to get better, I don't have a problem with that. And therefore, getting the number 1 draft pick that following year, I'm good with that. It's when you've got the players and you seemingly attempt to make it so that you can't win a game that really bothers me, because it just takes away the integrity of a league.
I agree. Yep.
So until Tuesday, I am Ozzy.
And I'm Austin.
Have a great week.
See ya.